Good afternoon, evening, everyone, on this Wednesday, January 27th, 2016, about 4 o'clock Eastern Time. In this video, we'll cover my thoughts, discussion, whatnot, for Day 3 Weather Challenge, still on New Orleans. Alright, here we go. Okay, looking at the recent observations, the past 24 hours or so, or the recent 12 hours, which is more important. They did have some rainfall overnight last night, around 4 a.m., which accumulated up to a tenth of an inch, and that was about it. It has not rained since, besides a little drizzle, which only tallied a couple of traits. And temperatures, they did cool down fairly well, despite yesterday's warm weather. Cold advection really took over in a hurry, and that brought temperatures all the way down to 45 degrees. Most models were kind of in the mid 40s, upper 40s, USL 47. So a little cooler than what the models had. I had 47 as well, so oh well. Winds have definitely been very active. Very, very active. 11 o'clock this morning, they had a gust of 48 miles per hour. That was something, and sustained 22 knots or 25 miles per hour. And they have maintained clouds, although those clouds are starting to thin out a little bit, which has allowed temperatures to climb all the way up to 54 degrees. My high at 53 degrees shouldn't be too far off from that. My winds today were only 18 knots, so this 22 knots here is kind of upsetting. Very interesting. I'll take a look at that a little bit later, why that might have occurred. Alright, so let's take a look at the satellite in the area. So you can see these clouds, post-frontal clouds kind of hanging on. Then you have some more activity, bit of a shortwave. Let's take a look at the SPC mesoanalysis. You have a couple things going on here. I can zoom out. So you have this shortwave, this region, and then you also have your onshore flow helping to get that convection going, moisture, instability, all the necessary ingredients for that. And that has produced a shield of rain, which is for the most part stayed offshore, which the models indicated yesterday, just staying to the south. Although some of the models, I peeked a little bit, I cheated a little bit, may get into the area towards the second 60 period or the first 60 period for the upcoming forecast period. Take a closer look at that. Yeah, otherwise these clouds are slowly but surely thinning out as the front kind of moves away. But you do have these clouds moving back in, associated with shortwave and convection. Okay, let's take a look at the RPM. Southeast, 18 Xeron. Let's get the parameter correct. Alright, so 19Z. Looks alright, based on what I saw on the visible satellite. These clouds thinning out, and then you have more clouds behind. And then you have your wet weather, which still over the Gulf, although it is moving north and east, 23Z. So here we are. Forecast is due around here. Looks like the rain barely makes it farther north than the coastline. So it looks like New Orleans might be spared, although clouds do impact. Although it looks like the max temperature has been reached today. Anything these clouds will probably inhibit radiation cooling. And rain, it looks like an organized line kind of sets up very rare 4Z. Kind of watch this area right here. It's very close, 5Z and 6Z. You have some showers. At least the model is indicating some showers over the area. Although I do question the saturation of the atmosphere. There might be some dry pockets, which the model isn't handling too well. We can take a look at that. right now. Okay, so here we go. This is the 12Z NAM, 18Z NAM might be out as well. Okay, let's take a look at that then. So yes, you have these elevated RH values, which probably indicates cloud coverage. Indeed it does, according to the model. And below that you have a decent amount of dry air. Look at around 900 millibars, and as well as 800 millibars. RH value is about 40%. So any sort of rain that forms in these clouds would have quite a bit of dry air to overcome. Very weak synoptic lift. Taking a look at vertical velocity. Actually, okay, it's a little decent, but you do have some subsidence below that. A lot of dry air. It's cool up there, so really, not really talking a whole lot of convection. Cape, here's the cape, nothing. So mostly you have, yeah, right here. This is even right up. This is around 9Z, so I'm not really worried about. Actually, I am worried about that. But more focused on what might happen the rest of today. Again, you have a lot of dry air below. Maybe after 6Z, between 6 and 9Z, you do see some of the higher RH values starts to creep their way down the layer here, although you still maintain some dry air. Comparing the 12 and 18Z NAM, looks like that layer becomes less favorable. And here's the GFS. Really nothing going on below. There really is. I don't even know if there's a really good cloud here that produces rain. Vertical velocities on the 12Z GFS, nothing compared to the NAM. Okay, that's interesting. Yet the model still tries to produce precipitation, convection, and it's not going to be any convection. So, and this is for tomorrow. The 12Z NAM had something. That's not what I wanted. Okay, yeah, so it has a little bit of rain for the start of the period, although 18Z NAM has trended a lot drier. And then here's the GFS. Nothing going on. Okay, so that takes care of rain concerns, although I'll take a look at the HRR in just a second. As far as temperature overnight tonight, you do maintain these clouds, which might inhibit some of the radiational cooling, although you do still have that cold advection. Very windy aloft. Looks like the wind might prevent the boundary layer from decoupling, so winds will likely stay up overnight tonight. Coupled with cloud cover would prevent much dropping, although there is another period right here, the second 60 period of day 3, which looks much more favorable for radiational cooling, and as well the P watts are much lower. So I think the second 60 period might be okay, although they are right next to a lot of bodies of water, which are fairly warm, which always messes with things. But surface winds are fairly light. So keep that in mind for low temperature, maybe probably in this region. We'll see. The model agrees. And for the high tomorrow, let's see. I never did this, did I? Oh, I did. Okay, I only went to 630Z. So let's continue with that. Okay, here we go. Sunrise. A few, probably those high clouds may linger into the morning hours, and then they kind of clear out. So you have drying air mass coming in. So it looks like most of tomorrow is sunny, which should allow them to get nice and warm, although they do maintain some of the cold advection, although the winds do lighten up a little bit. Northerly flow again, like they did today, which could make things interesting for the wind. They have that lake just to the north. So let's take a look at the temperature. So it looks like the column, temperature-wise, fairly similar today and tomorrow. So they're really going to have to, pump up that sunshine, get the sunshine working, to warm the boundary layer a little bit, which only mixes up to about 940 millibars. So more sun than today. I would definitely say today would be warmer than tomorrow. high so far today, 54 degrees. It might warm up another degree or two. Sun is slowly but surely setting, so it should probably max out there, or 55. Potential temperature, slightly warmer. Tomorrow, that was a GFS look. Similar story. A little cooler up here, but again, we're really only concerned with the lower portion of the atmosphere. Again, more sun than today. I really have a hard time seeing tomorrow being at or below than was today. Okay, so let's take a look, see what the model has. So the model has for the high, fairly similar to today, maybe a degree warmer. That's the 18Z. Okay, so it looks like the 18Z and 12Z NAM agree. Here's a GFS, definitely a couple degrees warmer. I like the GFS a lot better than the NAM. As far as a 2-meter temperature output, I definitely agree that it should be a little warmer than today. GFS was a bit too cold today, so we'll have to see. So it looks like, yeah, this should be a little bit warmer. We can look at the 925 temps real quick. So about 9 Celsius or so, and we're at 21Z. Okay, so again, the boundary layer is not really mixing too well, especially with the lack of sun. So yeah, a little warmer than what the model had, at least at the surface. And tomorrow, I think, should be a little bit warmer than today. As far as the low, real quick, okay, so this period right here, I was thinking the second 60 period. Again, the bodies of water just besides them will definitely inhibit some good radiational cooling. So it looks like the GFS wants to have it occur around 12Z. And so does the NAM. And similar readings on both, 39 degrees. Looks like the clouds might be moving out right before sunrise. And the winds do lighten up a bit. Let's take a look. Alright, here's the blare. A neat feature on this website, I think they just recently added, you can zoom in right on the WxChallenge city for both the HRRR as well as the 4-kilometer NAM. So that's very helpful. Alright, so let's look at the comp reflectivity. Oh, let me mention my theory on the wind today. Again, winds got up to, they had a gust of 42 knots. Yeah, that's correct conversion. Yeah, 42 knots was the gust at 17Z. So I guess we can go back to here. Okay, so here, New Orleans is around here, the ESOL station at least, and here's a big body of water. Now, this body of water is probably warmer than the surrounding air, at least the air advecting in. So that would mean that the density in this region would be less than over here, which would help to accelerate the wind, which is definitely shown, this wind barb right here. And also the less friction on the water surface compared to land. And also, I haven't been able to find an accurate temperature reading in the center of the lake here, but there might be some decent low-level temperature gradient, low-level lapse rate or not, might help to, mix the winds down a little bit better to really produce a nice gust. But yeah, that's my theory. Why a northerly wind on a day like today would really crank. Yeah, but in the thing tomorrow, you have a northerly wind as well. Although you just don't have this low-level jet. I mean, it's more kind of spread out tomorrow. And it looks like the boundary layer, in all, has less wind within it. But northerly wind, a little bit of a westerly component compared to today. So I'll have to see if it's wise to go a little bit higher. But anyways, let's look at the comp reflectivity. Alright, so here's your showers or whatnot. 0Z, 1Z, 2Z. Here's this more organized liner, whatnot. It's 3Z, 4Z, 5Z. Let me show you. Let me get New Orleans up here. Forecast sounding. Just to highlight the dry levels. Okay, so here we are, 3Z, forecast hour 7. Look at the dry air at 850 millibars. Look at the sim reflectivity. It's showing some low reflectivity values. That does not happen with all this dry air. No way. Advanced at an hour. You do saturate a little bit from the top down, but you still maintain a lot of low-level dry air as you do have that northerly flow. Compare this to the sim reflectivity, and really, yeah, it's showing 30 decibels. However, the dry air is pretty astounding, and that really, without really meaningful convection, weak synoptic lift, it's going to be hard to saturate this, especially when you have a northerly flow constantly drawing in dry air. Take this out another hour. You're still dry. This is 5Z, still fairly dry. Taking a look at the comp reflectivity, it looks like most of the shower activity is moving away, and you still have a good amount of dry air, the low levels. And here we are, the start of day 3. Still dry, and here's the sim radar, and it's gone. So my best guess, rain really isn't an issue for the next 12 hours or 24 hours. So don't have to concern ourselves. Despite what the comp reflectivity shows, I think the low-level dry air is really gonna eat away at this. So let's look at the USL, and then I'll wrap things up. Now, the low temperature. Okay, this is the correct run, yeah. Definitely a little bit warmer in the first period. The NAM and GFS had the temperature around 12Z, around 40 degrees, 39 degrees MOS. USL maintains it in the low to mid 40s, maintaining some cloud coverage in the wind. And then during the day tomorrow, definitely warmer than the NAM. NAM is way too cold. I don't know why it's so cold. But yeah, definitely warm. It's a warm pattern. All that sunshine. Look at all this wonderful, wonderful sunshine. Honestly, this sky cover might not even exist. But yeah, you can look at the incoming radiation. It's definitely higher than it was today. So, I mean, definitely warmer than today. 54 at the very least. Unless there's some clouds that appear out of nowhere. And then overnight, okay, they do, I mean, the sky is clear, the winds are a little bit lighter, but have all that water nearby. I don't know. Not really experienced with the city yet. Seeing how low the temperature might go, around 12Z. Probably just gotta forget about this period then. If it happens, it happens. 58. This is the actual high in the USL. 43 in the low, winds, yada yada. It has a little precip at the beginning of the period, but again, I don't think there's gonna look at the RH values, pretty low, and that extends right up through 850 millibars. So again, without the convection and large scale synoptic lift, don't think that's gonna be enough to saturate the column, enough to support raindrops. Accumulating more than a trace. So I think that covers most things. I'll end this just before it hits 20 minutes so you can enjoy the rest of your day. Alright, goodbye.